So hello everybody. First of all, before I start my presentation, because it would be the last presentation of this conference actually, I'd like to thank to all of you to join to this, because I know some of you was coming from quite far and you went through a lot of trouble to getting here. And for me especially it's really nice because I'm working for this wonderful project now for 2 years, and through Viola I heard so many things about you guys, because through the meetings, in the Zoom meeting, etc., etc. And now I can also put some faces and I have now some nice memories and experience also with many of you. So thanks again to coming. And I will start my presentation. It's going to be about the research in the Pentezug area. Like I said, I started 2 years ago, and we do not have so many data, so I'm not going to show you too much results. Basically, I'm just going to explain to you what kind of research are we doing currently. Oh yeah, with this one? Yes. So many times people are asking that, actually, what are we doing over there? Because we spend sometimes hours and hours and days and weeks over there. So let's see actually what we are doing. But before, I'm going to show you the research. I'm going to give you some history about the project itself. The three main aim of the project was, first of all, to have an alternative grazing with very minimal human activity. The second one, to establish a very healthy semi-wild pea horse population. And then the third one was a scientific, to establish scientific studies. And then the history, just very quickly, in 1996 the former EEP coordinator was visiting Hortobágy and checking the area that is suitable for a long-term breeding and research project. And then the next year, the area first with 2,500 hectares, and then later 3,000. It was enlarged to 3,000 hectares. The area was becoming an A zone protected area. And then the same year already the first transports started, first with 21 horses from different zoos from all around Europe. And then not so long, it took for a year to have the first breeding success. And 1999 was a game changer because a second large-bodied herbivore was introduced, which is the reconstructed aurochs, which now you have some very close encounter because of during the breakfast and during also the lunch. You're gonna meet these guys, and also personally during the visits as well. So just a quick introduction about this species. This is a very hardy cattle breed. You can keep them outside for 365. They need only very minimal human help, and they are doing very well in this climate. They can take quite easily the summer and the winter as well in Hortobágy. And of course we know from history that horses was living always alongside with bovines. Here in Europe the aurochs and the Eurasian horse was presented, and we have also cave paintings to prove that. The aurochs was quite a different animal that we have now. That's why we always need to say this is a reconstructed aurochs. Yeah, this is the future plan to have something like this, but we will see about that. And some pictures about the animals themselves with the calves. Some of them are running, and we have over there here some some spoonbills just minding their own business. And then here we have a beautiful bull in the area. And many times we have the question that how these two species are living together, what is the relationship with them, how they cooperate, or are they complement each other. But yesterday from Dan's presentation, we heard a lot about this, that they are actually doing quite well together, the equids and bovines. So this is a proof that actually they are doing quite well. Just about some numbers. Since the project started, the numbers of the animals increased, and then after 2018, it went down, and now currently we have altogether around 550 animals, 300 from the horses and 250 from the cattle. And now let's see the research itself. So first of all, obviously, we have research with the horses, which is identification, group composition, and interactions. Kata was talking a lot in her very nice presentation about interactions. So let's see about this, the identification. Well, if you have 300 horses, it's quite a challenge to identify them individually, and that's why I'm not doing this, because I could not do. That's the job of Viola and Timmy. I'm just helping them out. So the individual recognition, it's very important for not just for the research, but also for the breeding program to know which individual is actually that need PZP treatment, or you take the biopsy, or so on and so on. Unfortunately, less than the 10% of the animals are individually marked. They are freeze branded, and actually it's quite a fuss, and we need to organize it very well, and we cannot have that so often. And here you can see Andre and some of our crew are just taking care of some blood samples, and also the branding was done. So they put the animal under anesthesia during this time. A big part of the individual recognition is that we have a photo catalog, and we are having a PPT slide from each horse, which contains some personal information, and also the pictures, the hindquarters, summer winter portrait, and the coats during summer and winter from both sides. So we have from all of our horses that we have right now a slide like this. The other from the three important pillars of the identification and the research of the horses is the group composition, and now Viola is really busy to make out something from the mess that can happen from one day to the other in a harem group, and for that they are also monitoring the changes, and also they write it down and administrate it regularly. They also update this every week, right? Every week, yes. And also the biopsy sampling to know that who is who actually, and then with that we are sending the samples to Davis, who are doing this for us since the beginning of the project. And that's about the horses. I'm not going to talk more about the P horses themselves. I'm going to talk about the rest of the research, which I'm doing actually. First of all is the vegetation sampling, and I will tell you how we are doing, and I'm very curious about the results that you guys started now in, and you, Barbara, was explaining in the heart of a huge crowded city. Maybe we can compare later if we have more data to that project. That would be lovely. So here is a vegetation map of the larger area. Unfortunately, the smaller one which was attached to it later, we do not have yet this. But as you can see, the two largest vegetation is the alkali meadow and the alkali steppen, which makes out more than 70% of the vegetation in the area. And that's the two areas actually that we are studying. The method of the sampling is that we got 6 sampling points pointed out by botanists, and then from this 6 points we are taking from the two kind of type of vegetation that I already taught to you, the steppen and the meadow, the alkali steppen and the alkali meadow, two type vegetation, and then from each vegetation we take 16 samples, and we check for 3 parameters: the longest height, the green weight, and after 2 weeks drying, the dry weight of the vegetation. And we are using a 20 times 20 square. And just to show you this, that this is a very handmade stuff. Because we do not have such a big budget, we are trying, and we try to establish this kind of researches that everything is made by very easily, just easily manufactured, not so hard to do it, or anybody can do it. Actually, the sampling as well. And this is also the plan for the future, that we want to have this for a long term and to have a continuity and to compare then the information and the data that we have later on. So we just simply throw this square, and wherever it falls, we cut the grass up till the bottom, and that, yeah, there is not always just summer. We do it also during, actually we try to do it all of the 12 month of the year. So every month per once, and then we wait it, and then after, like I said, the drying, we wait it again. Here just some very interesting diagram. It shows that, yeah, we didn't get so much rain since the end of the last year. And then if you see the most important time of the year, it would be May, June, and July, and just compare the two diagrams to each other. I mean, this is really sad looking right now. This is only one vegetation type. This is only the alkali steppe, because it seems that the horses are preferring more that one instead of the meadow. If we have more years, then for sure would be nice to see the patterns, how it's going to change. And then the horses are not just eating grass, but they like also very nice flowers as well. And we do like them also. So the next research is the use of the area, which is done that when we're going to visit the horses, we take always a GPS position, and then we put all of the information that we can have, for example, the weather conditions, the time, the date, how many animals are there actually, and something remarks as well, what's interesting to know. And then from that, we tried right now to put also, because it's looking interesting, how much rain we have in that period. So for example here, the GPS point, the dots, are from the 2021, from January to April, and then you can see here how much rain was falling down. So the horses are basically using the whole area, but mostly this part, the northern, the southern, and the middle part as well. So this is the beginning of the year, and it's changing. During the summer, they are preferring more this area, and there is a difference between the two colors. The green one is where the 300 horse is together, the big group. The small, the orange dots, they are the animals who keep, the groups who keep home range, and that is the stallion, the harem stallion's name. Or for example, when we have badgelers, we also we do it separately. So look at here in 2021, though not that much, we still had some rain, and this is how it looks right now. I mean, it's very striking, the difference, and if you look at it, the horses are basically everywhere. They are using the whole area, searching for food right now. We are curious to see what's gonna happen in the upcoming years after this. Very important thing, and I was so happy to see in Sarah's presentation this really lovely illustration that I'm going to show you as well, because I found it also fascinating that what large effect the white horses are having in the environment. And I think this is a very educational picture as well, to show that how many animals, how many creatures and plants can benefit just from the presence of the white horses. So that's why we're also monitoring the fauna, and we are checking the birds. For example, here you can see the starlings are using the horses not just as a very good opportunity to catch insects, but also to have shade in the open area. Here are some roughs, just going around the horses during the spring. And then here is some birds of prey, which are also liking very much the presence of the horses. And you believe or not, there is a bird in this picture. And I will help you where. Over there it's quite blurry, but that was on purpose because this bird is the European, this is the stone curlew. And according to the information that we got just recently from the rangers of the national park, one pair is living in the reserve from the 3 breeding pairs in the whole national park. So the next group are the orthopteras, the insects which are also grazing, so they are eating grass, and we found it also important to see how large grazing pressure they can put on an area, and also what kind of species are. We try to do samplings from different vegetations, and then we count the species and the individuals also in the species, and we do this only during the hottest period of the year. And a very interesting thing, from the last year we just couldn't avoid to notice that this species, the Acrida hungarica, started to get in the reserve quite in large numbers. And this is a larvae actually. And then here you can see the adult one, which can grow up to 20 centimeter. And that's a good sized snack for any insectivore. The interesting fact is also that this is a species which is living more in the southern and in the Mediterranean part of Europe, and now we can find them in large numbers. Basically, wherever you go, you can find these guys in the reserve, and that's probably most likely related to the dryness and the drought of the 2 year. We have also very nice swamp areas, and actually, because there is no human disturbance first, second, they are not so polluted, and that's why it's a perfect area to sample the aquatic vertebrates and invertebrates. Just with a simple net. We have a person who is doing this for us. He checks all of the insects, the mollusks, and of course the fish. And I can assure you that this fish was not dead. We could release it back. It was just a comparison to the side, because this fish was, and actually is, the fish of the year here in Hungary. Unfortunately, even in these kind of undisturbed waters, we can find invasive species, such as one of these on the left side. It's a native clam, and the other, it's from Asia arrived. So, and then just to keep our feet inside the water, we do also some hydrobiology researches, which it's important for us that the water, what the animals are drinking, what kind of qualities they are, and what kind of toxics can be found over there. And we are not just taking from natural water source, but also we have quite a few wells in the area, and then we do the samplings also from there. And according to the results, I try to look up what is the current quality for the drinkable water for human. And as you can see, all of the numbers are way inside this range. So all of the parameters, all of the things that we was looking seems and showed that this is a good quality water that they drink. Of course, we do not see and we do not search yet for parasites, for example, in the water, or bacteria or microorganisms. Only we just look for a couple of chemicals inside. And then last but not least, we do the parasitology. And I will show you the method, how it's done. We tried actually we are doing the 10% of from the population, we take dog samples, which means it's 30 individual per month, 15 stallions or badgers, and 15 mare or foal, but now we stop. We're just going to take only from the mares. And the method is we have an egg chamber, and then we count the eggs, and sometimes even the parasites inside the worms are visible. We are not going into the specific levels. We're just gonna do the counting because we do not have the time, and also we are not experts, so we cannot do that themselves. And like I said, we are trying to establish long-term researches that can be easily done, to sacrifice maybe some very important information, but maybe in the future it can change. Right now, this is our current limit that we can do. Here is one of the results which I can show you. It's from the 2 year which we compared the egg numbers. It's the egg per gram of the feces. And then here we have the stallions, the bachelors, and the mares. And now in 2020, keep in mind that we are now only in July, so we didn't have the rest of the year. Right now it's looking like this. And it's the same because every time when we take the feces sample, we also do a conditioning point from 1 to 5. And this is as far what we can see. And then let's see, we have the present research and what the future brings for us. So first of all, like many times you heard today from this, we want to use also AI and to identify the horses with this, and we have very nice people to help for us, indeed. Second, we also are very happy to give horses when the right conditions are for other places to reintroduce again back to the original habitats or in semi-reserves. Right now we are in a talk with Kazakhstan, and also from Spain people are interested maybe to start to have horses, and also there is a plan to join to the Reviving Europe program, which is a very nice project going here in Europe. And then of course we like to continue the long-term research that we started, and also, like I said, we really like that one to keep it as simple as we can, so later on when somebody else is doing this job can also just continue and to do that. With that, I thank you for your attention.